Hello, everyone, and welcome back to 90 in Ontario, our weekly recap series for everything League 1 Ontario. The first week of league play is now in the books, which saw the start of both the Premier and Championship divisions. Now, to reiterate, the previous week saw the Cup games take place, and those games do not count towards any league standings. For League 1 Ontario, the first week of action can be tricky for teams to strategize, as key players can be missing through school, they still haven't found their playing identity, and have little footage of their opponents to go by. Nevertheless, we know everyone was excited to kick off the season, and who better to jumpstart it all than our very own Dexter Abrams to recap the two matches of the week.
Hey guys, my name is Dexter Abrams, and this week I'm going to be presenting the matches of the week. On the men's side, Simcoe County Rovers versus Scorsoppi, and on the women's side, Woodbridge versus Vaughan. So let's start with the women's side of things. Vaughan hosting Woodbridge. You already know the history between these two clubs, both of them ready to make their mark this season. Woodbridge coming in with Samantha Murphy, the reigning MVP and Golden Boot winner. So both teams are settling into this game, trying to knock the ball around, feel each other out, and it only took 2 minutes for the ball to land at Sabrina Basante's feet. She found a small gap between three Vaughan defenders and put her laces through it from just outside the 18-yard box and opened the scoring for Woodbridge. There was a lot of back and forth action in this game, Woodbridge trying to defend their lead, and Vaughan trying to push for a goal after conceding early. Vaughan had thought their time had finally come to get back into this game when Nia Fleming-Thompson charged forward and was taken down inside the box in the 75th minute. After being taken down in the box and earning Vaughan a penalty, Nia decided to step up for her team. But unfortunately, she hit the crossbar and kept this game 1-0. After some more back and forth, Woodbridge found themselves on a counterattack. And who else was on the end of it but none other than Samantha Murphy to put her team up 2-0. After a great performance from both sides, Woodbridge find themselves taking this one, winning 2-0 over Vaughan. Now let's take it over to the men's side of things, where we had Simcoe County Rovers, coached by Canadian international Doniel Henry, hosting last year's champions, Scorsoppi. While both teams were having their chances, it was Noah Dirminkis for Scorsoppi who came closest in the 65th minute, putting his laces through the ball, only to come up short, hitting the post, keeping this game 0-0. But as they continued to apply pressure, it only took Omari Catterall 5 minutes to finish a low-driven cross where all he had to do was tap it in and open the scoring for Scorsoppi. After a very intense game, loads of back and forth, loads of chances, this game ends up finishing for the visiting side, Scorsoppi, 1-0.
Thank you, Dexter, and now let me go over the rest of the results. The Women's Premier Division opened last Wednesday with a 1-1 draw between Waterloo United and Alliance United. Saturday saw 3 games with NDC Ontario catching the headlines, beating North Mississauga 9-0. Simcoe County winning 2-1 against FC London. And lastly, in our match of the week, as we heard, Woodbridge getting a leg up on their bitter rivals Vaughan with a 2-0 triumph. Heading to the Women's Championship, we saw all 4 matchups be played on the Sunday as Tecumseh and Pickering played to a stalemate. Whitby FC claiming a strong win against Hamilton 3-0, Unionville winning at home 2-1 against Oakville, and finally Scorsoppi won in comfortable fashion, taking home a 3-0 win over Rush Academy. Hopping over to the men's side, in the Premier Division, Saturday started off with our match of the week, which saw Scorsoppi take the upper hand in the Battle of the Giants, winning 1-0 on the road against Simcoe County. Then Vaughan beat the newcomers St. Catharines 4-1, letting them know it's not a stroll in the park in the top tier. And finally, other newcomers, FC London, held out for a 2-2 draw against Alliance United. Sunday saw another bitter rivalry take place with Oakville just barely getting by neighbors Burlington 1-0. Finally, heading over to the men's championship division, Friday saw 4 games played, and to start, the 2 newcomers, York United and Sudbury Cyclones, played their inaugural league match against each other, seeing Sudbury win on the road. Whitby and the Borough FC played to a 1-1 draw. Unionville picked up a big road win against Windsor City 3-0. And North Mississauga shined, winning at home 3-0 against Hamilton. On Sunday, Pickering FC drew 2-2 with Guelph United. And lastly, our final match saw Masters FA's own Michael Avila score a 94th minute winner to take all 3 points, which is also our highlight of the week. A tough heartbreak loss for Waterloo, yet what a way for Masters FA to open their season. But with all the results in, let's head on over to our teams of the week. For the men's championship division, the starting 11 are as follows. Ile of Masters FA, Saab Kular of North Miss, Brendan Moxham of Sudbury, last-minute goal scorer Michael Avila of Masters FA, Amardo Oakley of Guelph, Justin Irwin of Whitby, Ayumide Abubare of Pickering, Cedric Ngunu from the Borough, George Akbabio of Unionville, Josh Favero of Sudbury, and lastly, Christian Shizanovsky from North Mississauga. Now the women's starting 11 is as follows. Isabel Barrett of Tecumseh, Emily Cerrone of Whitby, Brooklyn Mitchell of Pickering, Vanessa Pianta of Scorsopi, Brianna Dessa of Pickering, Alicia Tamburo of Whitby, Torrid Grant Clavijo of Unionville, Sarah McLeod of Whitby, Ines Del Homel of Unionville, Alaya Lully of Scorsopi, and Savannah Bylargin of Tecumseh. Congratulations to everybody that made the teams, and if you would like to see the Premier's Team of the Week and the Players of the Week, please check out our Instagram page at League1 Ontario. Wrapping up the first week of league play, trying to keep up to date with live scores can get tricky, but League1 Canada would like to share a how-to guide on downloading and using their app, the League1 Canada app. As you just saw, the League1 Canada app brings you live scores, standings, starting lineups, and news in one location, helping you navigate through your favorite teams. You can find the League1 Canada app on the App Store and Google Play Store completely free. Now, before we get into previews of the week, we'd like to highlight one of League1 Ontario's team's dedication to their community. A Scarborough native and former Canadian national team player, founder and president Andrew Ornock's vision for the Borough FC is to forge a powerful alliance with the Scarborough business community in order to achieve its goal of sustainability in an attempt to become a leading soccer club in Canada. To that end, Borough FC has established the Business Club, a collective of local community-minded enterprises that have joined forces to offer their support to the club. Among the more notable businesses who have come on board are retail apparel outlet Scarborough Spots. Earlier this month, the Borough FC held an activation event with Scarborough Spots at its retail location in Eglinton Square Mall to introduce the club to the community and launch a line of co-branded merchandise. Enjoy. Amazing video, and thank you to the Borough FC and Andrew Ornock for being an example of how soccer clubs in Ontario can connect with their community. Finally, let's get into the matches of the week, starting off with our very own Carlyle Fizette interviewing Alex Morales, coach of Unionville Milliken, and Chloe Schleichhorn, coach of Burlington SE. Take a listen.
Chloe, let's start off then, I guess, with just the season so far. How are you feeling about the squad in the early stages of this campaign?
It's my first go at head coaching a League One team, so it's definitely a learning curve just in terms of, I guess, dynamic, right? Just because that core group of players is still at school, and so finding the balance of getting, our core that's here, plus our younger players on the same kind of philosophy and playing ground it's difficult, but it's nice because our players have such good attitude. So everyone's really eager to learn, super feisty on the field. So what they may be lacking, like maybe chemistry at this point, they're good at in other avenues.
To be completely honest, for us, it feels like the season hasn't even really started. And the reason I say that is because with the timing of the commencement of this season's, of the start of this season, was the same week that all our Canadian university girls were on exams. So they were not able to come home. Our US D1 girls won't be home for another week or two. So we've had one cup game and one regular season game. So that's been the bulk of younger players that we've called up and used. So, you know, the cup game was tough. We lost, but we did win our first regular season game. So that's exciting because it means that our younger players are ready to step up. And, you know, we had 4 or 5 of our senior team players there. We expect to have a few more for this game. And then in about a week or two, we'll be ready to roll with a full team.
That's the nature of this league, though, right? Where this stage of where these players are in their careers and navigating all of that. And maybe just if you want to dive more into the young players, what you've seen so far, how you feel about that so early in the season, if you sound so optimistic already about it.
We had our cup game against St. Catharines, and I really wasn't expecting much because the players are 08s. So what would that make them? Like maybe 17, 18 years old. And they really stepped up. They battled hard. We ended up losing 4-2. It was 2-1 to the end. And, you know, we had about 8 of them, 7 or 8 of them in the starting lineup. So as a collective, it was difficult, but I could definitely see sprinkling 1, 2, 3 of them with a regular squad, then it's really positive. I really think that the club's in good hands moving forward. And, you know, like you said, the nature of the league with the schedule is a little bit tough. There's no way around that. That's just the way it is. So we kind of just, you know, we use this league to obviously get the best possible results, but also to prepare.
It's simple messages. That's kind of what we're aiming to excel in rather than complicating it. So I think that's been big. We're a fit team, so I think that's going to play, and you'll be able to see that on the field. And I think that was evident too 2 weeks ago against Oakville. So kind of our fitness piece, our transitional piece are probably our main 2 focuses in the last, I guess, in this preseason.
And if you're looking maybe bigger picture, even just ahead to this weekend, but the season at large, in terms of setting goals and, you know, expectations for your team, knowing that you've still got a decent chunk of your team still to show up here, what goes through your mind when you're thinking about that in the bigger sense?
The last few years, we've kind of been consistent, but not necessarily landing in like the top half of the division. So I think that's probably one of our goals this season is to finish in the top half. I think we have a good mixture of players that returning plus new that are going to give us a different edge than we've had in previous years. So that's definitely one of our objectives, as well as just trying to build the program for future years. So with incorporating a lot of our 2007s, and we've got a really strong 2008 team. So knowing that we can kind of, you know, lean on them, I think trying to build that program is kind of one of the long-term goal.
As our team, we have some NDC, National Development players that are coming in, 4 or 5 of them this year. We have a couple girls that are on trials in Europe that are going to be coming home. So I think we have a really strong team. So us winning the first game of the season is extremely encouraging. And I think we're going to have a really strong showing this weekend as well. So I definitely think promotion is on the table.
All right, Alex. Well, thanks very much for this. Best of luck this weekend and the rest of the season.
Appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carlyle, for the interview, and a very big thank you to both coaches for giving your time. Good luck to both teams. Now, the second match of the week sees the Borough FC face off against local rivals Masters FA in the championship. And I myself get the luxury of breaking down this new budding rivalry. All right, guys, let's get straight into it. This Saturday, 6 p.m. at Birchmount Stadium, we will be seeing the very first Scarborough derby in League1 Ontario's new format between the Borough FC and Masters Football Academy. Now, Masters has had a firm grasp on the now disputed territory of Scarborough, partaking in the league since its inception in 2014 and being recognized as one of the founding teams for the league. The Borough FC, on the other hand, are just kicking off their second season as they were in League 2 in the previous year. Therefore, both teams did not get a chance to cross paths until this weekend. Looking at their forms, the Borough has had a bit of a rocky start as they lost their cup game 4-1 to St. Catharines Roma and then drew their first league match to Whitby 1-1. Both matches were on the road, so the point picked up away is definitely looked at as a positive than a negative, but this game will be their home opener, and for these big derbies, home field advantage always appears to play a massive role. Masters FA is looking to be a strong defensive team, so in order to break the deadlock, Borough will definitely be looking at their 2 goal scorers this year, Victor Munoz and Christian Kishishian, to hit the back of the net. Now, touching quickly on their first season, in the League 2 Central Division, they finished tied for 5th alongside Burlington SC2 with a 4-7-3 record, picking up 15 points. Now that they've stepped up to the championship, head coach Zico Moradi will not only be looking to survive, but push his boys to making some noise, and what better way to get noisy than to get one up on your local rivals. On the other hand, as we mentioned earlier, Masters FA is coming into this game on an absolute high from winning their match against Waterloo in the dying seconds last Sunday. They will be looking to ride that wave, having to go up against their now new noisy neighbors. Their cup match against North Mississauga was rescheduled, so Masters has only played 1 match, but that match couldn't have been a better start, seeing them get the win, the shutout, and 2 of their players being named to Team of the Week. Quickly looking back to last season, in the championship, Masters finished right in the middle of the pack, tied for 5th with a 5-9-4 record, tallying 19 points. What they can draw upon from last year is that they conceded the 3rd least amount of goals and are already looking to replicate that, being a defensive force, having a shutout in their opening match. Head coach Michael Marcochia will 100% be looking to get that clean sheet again and hoping to get some of that same magic we saw when Michael Avila sent his teammates and fans into a frenzy, putting the ball behind Waterloo's keeper and stealing 3 points. As a big fan of soccer and a big believer in growing the game here in Ontario, it is amazing to not only see Pro-Am soccer be in Scarborough, but to also have a new rivalry being born in the historic region. Both teams finally get to go up against each other, and we get to see who gets first bragging rights, as no one wants to be the first team to lose to the other. So if you're looking for some high-intensity soccer this weekend, Saturday, April 26th, 6 p.m., Birchmount Stadium, be there, or be sure to tune in live on YouTube at League1 Ontario's channel. Good luck to both teams. All right, everyone, that will do it for this week's video. If you liked the content, please consider subscribing, hit the bell, hit that like button, and leave a comment on who you think is already looking like the front runners for their divisions. We'll see you pitch side. Ciao.